adapt your processes to work with a virtual being. I don't like chatbots actually, because that is just an interface. Thinking about virtual coworkers is much more interesting when you can give it anything and invest in the tools.
Welcome to episode 46 of Tool Use, the weekly conversation about AI tools and strategies brought to you by Enetic. I'm Mike Bird, and today we're talking about practical AI for businesses. What strategies really work for robust, fair, and effective AI systems? This week, we're joined by Wolfram RavenWolf, the AI Evangelist at EllaMind, a Thursday AI regular, and an AI engineer. Wolfram, welcome to Tool Use.
Thank you. Great to be here. I'm loving it.
Would you mind giving us a little bit of your background, how you got into AI?
So, funny anecdote. My first computer, which I got at the age of 10 in 1988, it was a Commodore C64, and I named it Eliza after the mother of all chatbots, because as a child, I was totally fascinated with AI already. I even wrote in basic implementation of Eliza, so on this computer. And so my heart has been beating for AI for a long time. But personally, I went another route, and I was going into IT, and I have 30 years of Linux experience and have worked as a system and network administrator for over 20 years. The last couple of years were DevOps engineer, Kubernetes, Docker, all this stuff. And then the ChatGPT moment happened. And I was already back on track for AI that way, because in summer 2022, when Stable Diffusion got launched, that was what really excited me, when image generation was great. And then ChatGPT came, and I wanted to have it on my own systems and use it myself. And then Llama was leaked, the original Meta's Llama. And that is when I started building an AI system to work on this and experiment with it. And I posted all my experiments and evaluations and everything I could on Reddit. And that was back in the day when Eric Hartford was making his uncensored models. The bloke was quantizing them, and I was testing them. Those were ages back, and it was less than 3 years. It's amazing how fast the time is progressing, how fast time moves in AI land. Amazing. And I recently joined EllaMind, now just in April, as an AI evangelist and engineer, and we are working on an eval platform that will be released soon. Evaluation, that has been my backstory, what I've been doing all the time, because to run AI, you want to run the best AI you can, especially if you're resource constrained, as everybody is in the end. And so it was always very important to me to test these models, to see how they work and how to optimize them. So I tested models, I tested inference settings, I tested prompt templates, everything that affects the model. And nowadays you have RAG systems, and you have multimodality and all that stuff, which makes testing and evaluating even more complicated, but all the more relevant and necessary.
It's been such a crazy time, and the ability to have this open source community come together and share their experimentation, that's one of the things that got you on my radar, was just being able to take these different things, share with the community so we can all learn together. One area that I found there's like hits and misses with is the excessive demos that come on the AI space. So when you're working with companies, what are some of the common misconceptions that people have about what AI is actually capable of versus what people think it can do?
Yeah, that's very interesting. You have the different levels of understanding of AI. So the management often just reads about AI and it's a new big thing, so we have to have it. And in the company where I worked before that, where I was doing DevOps engineering, so our founder was saying, okay, AI, this is big, we need it. And he sent everybody, the whole company, on a 2-day workshop that was must be summer 2023. So still relatively early. And he sent everybody there and had a workshop organized. How can we use AI anywhere in the company? So it was, from the mindset, it was very great, and I loved it, because I was already on that trip in the way. And so I loved that. And I then transitioned into a newly formed AI department, where I was working as the AI engineer and set up inference systems and arranged the models locally and on the cloud, where we also hired a data engineer, and we worked together on this, and one manager on our team, so we could really push it in the company. Until the company got bought by another company, and through the restructuring and stuff and all that. So it was a bit slowing me down, and that's why I decided I wanted to switch it up and go work for a dynamic startup with a team of cracked engineers and push evaluations further that way. So yeah, but
Excellent.
Of course, You have these people, and you have some, normal people in a way that everything. You have the developers that are experimenting with AI. You have the management. You have marketing, which wants to use some of these tools, like image generation is big, or the video generation that is now getting even better. And I think everybody can and should use AI just because it is the most important technology that humanity has ever deceived. I think fire has changed everything, electricity has changed everything, and now AI is changing everything as well. And I'm convinced of that. So even when people come back, I had somebody come back from maternal leave, and I asked her, okay, how are you using AI? And she said, I don't use AI at all. I just have a little baby and I don't have time for this. And I said, okay, but if the baby is keeping you up at night or is teething, I don't know the word, anything like that, you can ask the AI about that and it can help you. It doesn't have to be just a business tool or anything. It can be your helper everywhere. So people should get used to it, like with computers. It's not just a business machine. Home computer, personal computer, game devices, everything. You get to use the technology, you love the technology, and then it can help you in your professional life.
I fully agree. In personal life, I've been using AI in different ways, and it's just unlocked a few different things that have been immensely helpful that I didn't really foresee as a possibility. And I've been deep in this for a while now. For those businesses that are AI curious and just starting to get into it, do you have any general low-hanging fruit that is something that they can quickly adopt or something that they can quickly run an experiment on so they can start seeing that value right off the bat?
I think you need to take a bit of money in your hands because it is an important tool, and good tools, they cost money. And if you start with the free tools, it's nice to get a look, but it will not convince anyone. So if you are, this has gotten much better than when OpenAI made the GPT-4o the default model for everybody. That was a big movement, of course. But before that, when you had ChatGPT 3.5, for example, on the free tier, that you tell people AI is great, they check out a free model and they are saying, oh, it's not working as much as it should. And so if you want to show somebody, you don't really have to go to the, for example, ChatGPT Pro tier level, but the plus level for just $20 for get one account and give it to your workers, your employees, and let them work and experiment with it and use it. And I would highly recommend to hire somebody to show them the ropes. Or if you don't have anyone, like all technology, when computers came into the companies, you had some tech guys who were interested in it, doing it as a hobby, and they could help everybody. So you need somebody who has a bit of knowledge with that and the curiosity. And I think you should be able to find someone if you have a good company, because then they can show others how to use the AI, what to consider, what to do, and which AI is good. If you just give somebody a ChatGPT account and they don't know where to select all three, for example, and what it is good for and what it's not. And so there's a learning curve. And what I'm pretty sad about is that the AI usually doesn't even know about it. So you can't just use any AI and ask it which of the models that are available in the same interface is good for this or that. So that is usually not in the prompt. And yeah, that is a bit of a downer, actually, because why doesn't the AI help me decide which AI is good? Or why don't I have just one interface that routes to the right AI? Depending on that, that would be a big unlock, I guess, making it much easier for people. But yeah, get the best AI you can, get somebody to show you how to use it, and then use it. Practice with it, learn it. And don't blame people if stuff goes wrong, because we all know AI is not perfect, but people are neither. That is a very important thing to consider. People are not perfect. And if it does matter, you have to have a 4 eyes principle at least, or checks that also apply to AI, and tell people that they are responsible for what the AI does. So if it does matter, they have to double check it. And that is very important to learn where you can trust the AI, where you can't. But the same would be with an intern. I like that example that you compare AI to a smart intern who knows a lot, but he doesn't know your company, or she doesn't know what you are working on. So you have to be explicit and teach it. And in a way, everybody has to be a manager that way and teach the AI, show it what to do and how to do it, and adapt your processes to work with such a virtual being. in your company now. Virtual coworker. I don't like chatbots actually, because that is just an interface you type and stuff. Thinking about virtual coworkers is much more interesting when you can give it anything and invest in the tools. Have some tools where you can use AI without much friction. It has to be easy to use. That is one of the things I wrote myself. So at the company, I wrote a tool. So you could just press a hotkey and send whatever you have selected to the AI to have it translate or check for correctness or write an email response and stuff like that. So it's very easy to do. And then I taught the people to use that tool, not just give it out, but teach people and refresh them and to make sure they have it, update it. And so you need somebody to really do the evangelism in their company and make sure that the tool is used and that the people get better with the tool. That is very important. And the tool must be easy. It must be powerful. It must be easy. And you have to have somebody responsible for making sure that it is getting used.
So many good points in there. I fully agree with a lot of it. The idea of having a coach or a teacher to come in and just give you an idea of what's possible, an environment of encouraging curiosity, where just say, if you're about to do a task, how can you fit AI into it? Can you just like have a little back and forth with it? Can you actually try to find a tool that accomplishes it? It's all really good stuff. When a company is trying to select an LLM, so they've started using different tools and they realize there's something that satisfies most of the case, but they want to build something in-house that's perfect custom to them, but they don't know which LLM to go with, whether it's OpenAI, Anthropic, any of the big ones, any of the local ones. Do you have a process or a general idea that people should follow in order to help evaluate these models before they get into too specific stuff? Like, when would I choose model A over model B?
That is something most businesses actually want, to have a local AI, though they can use data privacy relevant stuff and not send it out to the internet. Right here, I'm in German. So in Germany and in Europe, we have very strict regulations, of course. So most companies, they can't even use OpenAI, for example, unless it's a specific Azure version and they have special contracts and stuff like that. It's very obvious that they need something local. And of course, then they are asking the next question: do I do it in-house, or do I rent a server or a service? So there are some services like Mistral, for example. You could rent it in the EU, and then you would have the regulations that work with it. But if you want to do it internally, I would definitely recommend to first get started with the big models that you can run on your system. Of course, it's always resource constrained. But follow the news, follow the people like me who report about it. And in the end, right now, I would say if you need in Germany or in Europe, you have the languages. So you don't have much choice, actually, because the Chinese models are very smart. But in the European languages, I specifically tested in German, they are not as strong. So you have Gemma 27B, or smaller if you need to, but the biggest Gemma you can run locally that is available is a 27B. So that would be my first choice, or one of the Mistral models, which are very strong. I would test these, and you always have to make your own benchmarks, because in the end, nobody knows what you are doing with the AI. And that is what I always recommend to people. If you have something the AI is not doing, it's not working, write it down. That is a great benchmark, because if it's not working, you can test it with another AI to see if it works. So you can, over time, collect a couple of these cases where you have some personalized benchmark that you can use to evaluate if the AI model is finally being able to solve the issues you have. And it's amazing to see that progress. I remember when Quill, the QBQ, came out, and I finally could do stuff locally that was impossible to do before. The reasoning was so great, and I was very amazed when it finally did these tasks that I had to refer to online AI first. So that was a big unlock. And yeah, as a business, ask your employees to collect these special cases where it would really help the business if you have this solved, and then see if it can be solved. If it's not specifically protected or private or anything, do use an online AI, because unfortunately they are still better than the open source AIs right now. Or if you are using DeepSeek R1, okay. That is so big. I don't think most businesses will start with that. But of course, you can build onto it. But yeah, I would always take the best AI that is currently available, no matter where it runs, to test and see if it actually does what you want to do. And then if it works, then you know AI can do it currently. And then you can go down in size to local models or to quantized models and see if it can still be done. And so you can tune in to which model you want to use. And yeah, like I said, I would start with Gemma 27B, see if that works. I like Command R and Command A, for example. They have been a long time favorites locally, but you need a commercial license for them. Check it out. Qwen, I love Qwen. Maybe even build a pipeline where you have the smart Chinese model do the task and then have models that may not be as smart, but it can write your language better to just summarize and convert it so it's more presentable.
There's multi-model systems you can set up to really start leveraging the strengths of each of them. One thing you touched on, which I think is brilliant, is having everyone in the company try to just store what doesn't work and then have that as an eval set, start having the local benchmarks so you can start building up these capabilities or testing different LLMs in a system. Do you have any approaches or strategies to help make sure this is either automated or just easier to do? And how would you store this information for starting to collect these failure cases that we want to have succeed?
So usually a company has some kind of knowledge management like Notion or something, or a wiki, or just documents on your system. So just put it somewhere. That is the easiest part, and it's pretty easy to copy and paste. And usually you take it out of somewhere and then you give it to the AI, so you already have it stored somewhere maybe. If you are writing it up on the spot and the AI fails, then before you save it, it would be cool if you have some AI guy in your company to look at it. So when I was doing that at the previous company where I was an AI evangelist as well, the people always called me, and so I looked at their query and could help them and tell them, okay, this can never work because this or that, and maybe the context window is too small or you haven't given enough information. So that is important because you want good test cases. But if somebody is not available, just write it down. Somebody can later go through them and fix the best cases. So just write it down somewhere. And if you have some programmers in your company or something, you can think about making a proxy or something that is actually saving these, or you set up a local, like Open Web UI, for instance, where you have the ability to rate answers and put them in the database internally. Yeah, many options, but you definitely should collect data because AI gets better all the time, and having some good personal evaluation is very important to find out if it is working for your use case. Because a big MMLU Pro score doesn't help you if it doesn't speak German very well and doesn't do your task, if that is what you need.
And just speaking of MLLU and the other major benchmarks, do you even find any value in them anymore? Or is it the local setup benchmarks and evals that matter much more?
I find a lot of value, and actually I'm doing the MMLU Pro benchmark myself with the models, because the big thing is these benchmarks is they are widely available, which is a negative as well, but at least most of the models that get released they give the scores for these benchmarks. And now locally you are usually running a quantized model because you don't have the resources for the full FP16 32-bit version. And then you can use the available MMLU Pro benchmark locally with your quants and your prompts and stuff, and see, prompts is not the right word, but your settings, for example. And then you can see how does the score change between what they published and what you get on your own system. And I've been doing very specific benchmarks. For example, when Qwen was released, or Quill, that model as well, I was doing various quants and doing the same benchmark. And so I can see if the 4-bit version is much worse than the 8-bit version, for example. And that helps a lot to find the proper quant and see. Or I often found some issues with the model itself, where it was, for example, an 8-bit version or a different format like GGUS was doing much worse than an Excel 2, for instance. And then that can be caused by wrong tokenizer config in the model, or just a failed quant or stuff like that. So yeah, the benchmarks help you to find these out. And that is also a tip I have to give, because when you download a model from Hugging Face, for example, you download the new model was released, you get the GGUF, and you go. You should watch it, especially if it's new, because sometimes there are these issues and they get fixed. and then there's an updated version, and you may not even notice. So you may be running a worse version, and that is really bad if you just test it that way and then you say, oh, the model is bad. I don't know what everybody else is doing because on my system it doesn't work, but maybe you have a version that has a problem. So updating is actually also important for the models. And sometimes there are optimized quants like the Anslos team is doing, which I respect a lot. So where they look at the model and they find some little issues, or the quants that were made were not optimized because, it's a science for itself. And it's very important to make sure that the model you are using is good, and it doesn't help you if the original model is great, but the version you have has some issues and doesn't work very well. So that is also very important.
And I'm glad you brought the Unsloth guys, because they publish everything openly, and it's really cool to see just the process of diving in. As someone who's more on the application layer rather than the training and ML layer, I still find it so interesting just being able to see how you can really dissect these things to optimize performance.
I wanted to add to that because that also shows that there are many, many factors besides just the model weights, because you also have the prompt format that you are using. The actual prompt, of course, everybody knows the prompt, but the format itself is also very important. And if you are using the chat completion endpoint, usually the inference engine does the formatting for you, if the template that is part of the model is correct. There have been issues with that as well. And if you are using just the completion endpoint, you have to do your own formatting, which is still locally sometimes used. So that is also very important. I did a lot of template work before. For example, Terran is actually one of the inference engines where I did a lot of these templates, and Cobalt CPP, for example, both were the front end and back end I was using. So I was making sure that the templates were right. That is one thing. And of course, sampling parameters. So there are, everybody knows temperature, but there are so many others: repetition penalty, top K, and all these tails, these sampling stuff. Most I don't use, but you always have to check which are the default settings your inference engine or the model provides, especially if you are using, for example, EllaMind. They have those baked in the model files. And you should make sure that they work. Like the context, if you don't have the right context length, then your big model or your good model is not as good because it will be forgetting stuff. And there's always, of course, resources. The bigger the context window, the more resources you need. So you have to see where it fits. And that is also something everybody has to do to optimize the inference engine and make sure that the settings fit to their use case. That's very important. If you are using RAC and importing big documents and your context window is too small, it can't work. And that is not the model's fault or the software's fault. So that is also something you have to evaluate.
User error is a real thing. You had mentioned Ollama. I'm a fan of Ollama. I also use Jan for my local inference. Do you have any tools that you use for your local inference, whether it's for testing or for using, that you'd recommend people check out?
Oh, I started with, let me think, Uberbuga, actually. Uberbuga's web UI was one of the first. Cobalt CPP, Ollama at work, I used that. So that, and of course, Llama CPP, the granddaddy, now that it has its own UI and especially its own server, where you can use it as an API. That was a big unlock as well. XLLama is very fast if you can put it all on GPU. So my personal AI workstation has 48 gigabyte VRAM. So it's my desktop PC that I got two 3090s into. And I know that a lot of companies are also using two 4090s, 5090s, mostly two cards. And in that, unless you go really big with an HI100 or something like that. But at the company I was before, we also got one system with two graphic. No, it was just one. It was one, but it only had 48 gigabyte as well. So basically, you should use whatever works best for you, of course. Ollama is great, but I wouldn't use it for production. It's more for testing, I would say. Well, same like Docker and Kubernetes. I would use Docker for easy deployment and development, and Kubernetes if you want to go full scale. So, or VLLM, for example. That is very fast and performant. Kserve, I have no experience with, but there are so many options, as you see, and you should check out which one works best for the situation where you are. Do you want to use AI internally for your team? Then you don't need as big and parallel inference, depending on the company size, of course. than when you want to provide it to your customers and run it on scale or stuff. So yeah, I don't have much personal recommendation right now. I'm on a Mac using LM Studio because it's so easy to use, and use whatever floats your boat, I guess. I'd say should all work very well. And no matter what you do, evaluate. You always want to benchmark the system, see which is faster, and that can depend on the model as well. For example, multimodality. That is also an issue where you don't have it available for all the systems, unfortunately. So you may be forced to use a special inference engine that supports the multimodality for the model you are using. Although the support is getting better now.
One avenue I'd like to explore a little bit is when people are having these local models. I also use a MacBook, so I can just run it on my machine. The smaller models, but it does the trick. But when you get to the small business scale or even medium business, and they have the privacy concerns, so they don't want to use OpenAI, but they're unsure of how to deploy it or where they should have their local AI, whether they want to set up a server somewhere in order to run it. Do you have any recommendations on how people can kind of explore the hardware side of things, whether it's owning or even renting servers, and at like what stages they might want to explore more before overcommitting if they don't really know what their solution is yet?
That is a bit like a server in general, I think. If you are a very small company, you may be more well served with the cloud services because you don't have a dedicated team to maintain the systems. If you are a medium-sized company, you probably have an IT department and a lot of servers locally. So getting one more and put it in somewhere in a server room is not a big deal. Of course, you should have some people maintain it that know about the LLM part or the AI part in general. So which inference engine, like we just discussed, to use and to keep it updated and the models and stuff like that, you should have somebody knowledgeable, of course, because it doesn't help if you don't have anyone to keep these systems updated. Among us, the company where I was before, when I left, I asked again, do you have the new models now that were being made available, like Claude 4 recently? So no, they are still on 3.5, I think, or maybe 3.7 even, but not any newer. And you need somebody who takes care of these systems, of course. And graphic cards, they are hard to get, getting more expensive. Unfortunately, we all want more. Or you could go the other route and say, okay, I'm going for like DeepSeek and I want to do the multimodal, the MMOE models, mixture of expert models, where you can put it on RAM and still have good performance if you have a very fast CPU. That is another route. Or maybe do both. Of course, it costs more that way. But you want to have options, of course. That is one thing. And it's still buying a system and having someone maintain it is, of course, it's permanent cost that you have to maintain. Whereas if you use a cloud service like Azure AI or one of the others, or there are specific providers, you can use Hugging Face, for example. If you are using them, they take care of the maintenance. So that may make sense. You just have to check your regulations if you can do that, or if you have a local system. Mistral now just started with their, where they want to build a big compute and offer it. So there are options. There will be more options. I think, as always, you may want to start with some service where you have just, what it costs and you can cancel it at any time and switch to another service. If you get a big CPU and now the models need more GPU, then you are locked in a bit and you have to upgrade it. And if you go the other way, you invest in a big GPU system and now the MOE models are where it is at, then you may be locked down there. So as a business, you probably want to be the flexible. But if a couple $1,000 is not a problem, then you can just get a local machine and make sure that everything is only running locally. What I did at the previous company was just have two systems. 2 times OpenWebUI I was using, so 2 systems. One was externally, where I had all the external models integrated, like ChatGPT, Claude. What did we have as well? The Big Llama, for example, stuff running externally. And it was all red. The interface was themed, so people knew, oh, careful, this is going outside. And then we had a local system, which was all green and it was all local. So people knew, okay, I can put anything in here. It is staying on my local system in the server room. Yeah, so I would recommend start with anything that is good and then decide if you want it in-house. Build a team, and build a server.
Good advice. And I really like the idea of having a very visual UI about what's internal and external. So you can kind of be like safe to put in anything, your business data, and then just general queries.
Definitely, I really had to tell the people that they should use the external system by default and only go to the internal system if it is sensitive data, because of the system we had with the 48 gigabyte VRAM. We only had the quantized local model, so it wasn't full quality. And even the big ones, they didn't compare yet to what you could get from OpenAI or Anthropic.
We're getting there bit by bit. Do you think of any other hidden expenses or general costs for businesses who want to host their own AI?
I think there is an issue if you, if you only offer internal AI and it is the best you have, and the people are not allowed to use external AI, but the models you are serving are not working for the use case, then you may have a cost that you don't even see because basically lost opportunity, or you don't get the full benefit AI could give you if you were going to a better AI. And I love open source. I'm a big open source advocate, but we have to be realistic, especially in the business context. It's not just ideology. And right now it is still, though, that the external AI is still more advanced. And I think the gap is closing all the time, especially if the Chinese are doing a great job at that. So, and I use local AI, I use external AI. I think most will use both and see where it works. But just going internal and forbidding your employees to use external AI may be limiting, and that is a cost that you won't even see in that way. But it would be even more loss if you don't use AI at all. Outright banning it, that would be bad idea.
Yeah, it's no longer their day and age to be in denial that this is the future.
Yeah.
One benefit that I really like with hosting your own model or leveraging the open source is the ability to fine tune it on the data. Do you have a general perspective on at what point people should explore fine tuning, or should they just stick with hosted, stick with local, and then just run it stock?
Interestingly, personally, I have not fine-tuned the model. I have been thinking about it, but it's not something I have been doing. I have been more prompt engineering and getting my way that way. Even with the big commercial models, they are doing what I want. But if you want to fine-tune, of course, you need somebody to do it. And you need the resources, of course. So it doesn't have to be very expensive. And I know from what I see around me, and our evaluation software confirms it, that you can get a lot of better performance out of a small model if you fine-tune it for your specific use case. So I'm not saying fine-tuning is dead. So if you have that use case, it is definitely worth it to test it, but you need a lot of investment in that way, that you need somebody to do it. You give them the time to do it and the money, and then it can work. So if you don't have somebody dedicated to doing it, you may hire somebody just for this job, contract it out, or you just try it with a prompt. And the models are getting better, and I think you get a lot with good prompting, of course. And the thing with fine-tuned model is you are fine-tuning, and then you have the model, and now a better model comes out, so you have to fine-tune again. You can take your prompts, you have to adapt them, of course, but you can take them very easily. And that is also the reason why I didn't fine-tune a model for myself, because I want to always use whatever is available to test it, to use the best. And I would constantly be retuning the models. And I'm getting... So from my use cases, all the use cases I have, I get it with the prompting. So I would say the easiest way is to work on the prompt. But if that doesn't bring you where you need to go, and you don't have a prompt engineer or anyone with the expertise to help you with that, and you should have an evaluation system that tells you if it's getting better or not, because otherwise you would be flying blind, and you don't want that. And so I would start with the prompt because it's the easiest way and the cheapest. But if it is not getting you where you want to go, consider fine-tuning.
Max out prompting until you can't prompt anymore, and then start exploring these other options. One thing I'd like to pivot to is you've built yourself a personal assistant. And I think a lot of the future of our AI software is going to be very individual, very personalized. What advice would you give to someone who has an idea for a little tool or assistant that they want to build, and they just don't know where to begin? They go on ChatGPT, help me build X, but then what do you think they should do?
Yeah, that is the best start you can actually do. If you are having an idea, talk to the AI about it. Of course, you could talk to people. Don't forget that. Always keep talking to people. But yeah, you may not have somebody around you with the same expertise, or it may be an area where you don't even, you don't know much about. So you ask the AI. Of course, then you have to also be very careful, because we all know AI can tell you something that sounds so plausible, so logical, and is totally false. So, but yeah, you always have to double check. And the better models are doing agentic stuff. They are searching the web. They are giving you sources. So that is getting better. And yeah, that would be the first start. Take an AI you like and that you have been working with and ask it. Always use the best AI. In this case, I would definitely use O3, for example, instead of 4.0, because it is doing its thinking and checking and tool use and stuff like that. It helped me fix my workstation. My AI workstation was totally broken. I just went to ChatGPT on my other system, and we went through everything from debugging and finding out that it was a broken power supply. It wrote the mail to the where I got the system from, so I could get a new power supply. Then I took the picture of all the cables, and it told me which cable goes where and which I needed and which I didn't. I showed a picture of what cable is that, and because I'm not a hardware guy, I'm more a software guy. So I showed it everything, and I took pictures, and it said, okay, you have to unscrew this, and then you can pull this out and do this and that. It gave me exact how to do it. It even looked in the manual of my motherboard and zoomed in, the O3 stuff where it can zoom, and it even took the pictures that were relevant and cropped them and showed me just what I needed to see. It was amazing, absolutely amazing, and had me totally fix the system. So, and if you want to build something, just do the same. Of course, if you need to program, then I would recommend an editor like, for example, Cursor or Windsurf, or use Claude Code, for instance. Because if you want to build something, that would be more, it would work better than if you are copy and pasting stuff from a web UI. Although even O3 can now give you downloads and create stuff for you. And yeah, it's amazing what the models are doing and can do, and it will get even better. And I think now is the best time. If you have an idea, you should be able to realize that idea. The time has never been better, because you just need to be smart enough and have the motivation to get started, and then you can quickly learn all these things. Maybe that would be a point where I can tell you another anecdote about some things that changed my mind about AI. Then I was using AI at work at the previous company. I was always of the opinion you need to be smarter than the AI to make good use of it, because if you aren't, you don't even know if the AI is telling you the right thing, and you can't direct it. But when I moved to the AI team, I left a vacancy on the administration team. So we needed a Linux administrator, and it was. Yeah, we had a hard time finding someone who was good enough for this position. So in the end, we decided to convert a Windows admin. And so I showed him everything. And he had AI. That was the big unlock, because he was smart enough and knew computers, but he had no idea about Linux. But he could ask the AI something. And even if he didn't understand it, he could have it explained. And it showed me that you don't have to be an expert in the topic where you are using the AI to make good use of it. If you have the right mindset to work with it, let it explain. Don't just tell it what you want to do, but also let it explain how it's doing it and why it's doing what it's doing and stuff. So he learned Linux that way. And it was much, much faster than if I had just to do everything by myself. I was so proud of him when he was showing me stuff he has learned on his own through the AI. That was a good thing. I had another colleague, which we had he should have done the job before, but we had to let him go, because what he was doing is he was saying, I do this, and he just let it rip. And when I was seeing that, and he didn't know what the AI was writing, a simple task, it wrote a lot of code, and he just, I don't know what it's doing, just do it. And I was saying, no, that's not the way you can do it. It was a test system, but do not do this on production or anything like that. And that is a mindset thing, how you work with it. Let it explain, ask it again. My colleague always said, we should have an automated, are you sure, to be sent when the AI says something. So you have to learn to use the tool.
And a silly example, but I've been using just the ChatGPT app around my yard, take a picture of a flower or a plant, like, hey, what is this? And it'll give me an answer, very believable. And then I just do a quick Google search after just to confirm the plant. And then I look at the photos and it got 3 out of 4. So 75% accuracy is decent, but it was so confident about the one I got wrong that, yeah, got to be skeptical. Even with generating writing or communications, it sounds like AI. People are getting better at being able to identify it. So take the AI input as an input, not as like the sole source of truth.
Yes, exactly. It's still the human that is using the tool. If you have some agents that are totally independent, maybe robots and something, then we can talk about that. But until then, we have a tool and we have a user, and the user is responsible for what they are doing with the tool. And the tool can be the best tool, like you can have the best hammer and you can still hit on your finger and hurt yourself or hurt somebody else, or you want to get the screw in the wall, it's not working, the wall is broken. Yeah.
That's a great analogy.
AI affinity, I call it AI affinity, like you have computer affinity, where you, I saw when computers got in the companies, you were looking for people who were able to use it. And some elder people were not, some other elder people were doing it easily. So that is a mindset thing. It doesn't have to do with age or anything. It is just, are you open for the technology and are you willing to learn it? And that, no matter how old you are, that is the thing that we need with AI now.
And you had mentioned when people are building their projects, use O3. So whether it's the ChatGPT app or just go on their website, use a cursor or an IDE like Cursor, Windsurf, something like that. Do you have any other tools that you'd recommend people check out if they're in the interest of building or even just trying to leverage AI in their work?
I'm a tools guy, I have to say. So I want AI to work for me everywhere I go. So I want to have it. I got a Google Pixel phone, for example, just because it has so great integration. I don't even have to unlock it. I can just say the code word and the AI reacts and does stuff. And I have all the AI tools on it as well. And now that I'm on a Mac, I also got tools like Raycast, for example. If you have Raycast, it costs about the same as a ChatGPT subscription, but you get ChatGPT, you get Anthropic, Claude, you get all the other stuff. Even Croc is in there, and Llama, and a lot of things. And then take the time to learn to set it up. Like I told you, I wrote this tool where you can just press a keyboard hotkey to send anything to the AI. I just implemented that with Raycast as well, where the caps lock key is my hyper key, which is for all the things, because caps lock usually don't need it. I don't. So for me, it is working as a multifunction AI key, and I just press it and I press any key. And I have on my mouse, for example, a button. When I press it, I can just draw a rectangle around the screen and it already goes to an AI chat and I can ask about this. I have a key I can press so I can talk to the computer and it gets transcribed. That is Highlight, actually, is also a tool. So if you are talking tools, Raycast and Highlight, and there's CodeTypist, which is running a small local model and gives you autocomplete in any text window in everywhere where you are typing. And these are little things that if you combine them, you have an AI powerhouse and you can use AI for anything. And I still do go to ChatGPT, for example, so I can use O3 with all the integrations that they have there. Perplexity was a big thing I recommended to people because that was at the time when search was not yet standard in OpenAI and ChatGPT, and a lot of people asked stuff and the model didn't search, so it hallucinated, and that was also a bad time. So I told people to go to Perplexity and use that. I don't want to make too much advertising, but I think if a tool is good, it's always a good thing to talk about it. But I'm not sure if I keep Perplexity. If that browser is any good, I will, but otherwise I use it much less now. I use O3 a lot, especially after they raised rate limits. I like it a lot. Claude is sometimes a bit too abstraction, or how do you say? So it can be a bit boring, but actually I have my personal assistant, my Amy, is a big prompt I have that I use everywhere. I use it with local AI and I use the same prompt with ChatGPT. I have it in Perplexity. I have it everywhere where I can have one, even in Gemini as a gem. So I always interact with the AI through the lens of that sassy assistant, which makes it more personable. So personality for AI is very important, I think, because when we are using a tool all the time, it is great if you have a tool that is fun to use. And when I'm having an issue with the computer and I get a sassy response that makes me laugh, then it's not as bad as it would be if it's just a boring old assistant stuff.
That's such a great point, where these are tools that we can really shape and mold into whatever preference we have for interacting with them. We don't have to just choose between light mode and dark mode. You can actually set personality and tone. One thing that your answer reminded me of is I have Hammerspoon set up locally, which is an interface, a tool for interfacing with Mac OS. And by taking Hammerspoon's API and feeding it into ChatGPT, all of a sudden I can get scripts for accomplishing different things, set it to different hotkeys, and all of a sudden my laptop got that much more powerful just because I had a little idea for inspiration for window management or for transcription, and was able to do that. Obsidian, my note-taking app, you can generate plugins very easily now. So it's just, all you have to do is be willing to experiment and play with it, and then you can get pretty much anything you want out of these systems.
And the systems will help you, because when I was sitting at the Mac, everybody is a Mac fan. I have not been. I have been using Windows for, let me think, 30 years now. And I totally customized it to make it work the way I want with auto hotkey and other stuff and tools. And now the thing is, when I was on the Mac, I asked AI. I told it, hey, I'm on a Mac now and I feel lost. I want this, I want that. And like you mentioned, Hammerspoon, that was also a tool the AI recommended. And another tool the AI recommended was Carabiner. And the AI even wrote the scripts. I just told it, okay, I want my caps lock key to be a paste key and my shift key to be a copy key. Because if I just press caps lock, I just want my clipboard to be inserted. And if I press shift without anything else, I want to have it copied, because I'm a copy and paste fan. So I have these two keys. I don't have to press two keys together. And it wrote the script and did everything. And yeah, it's great. You tell AI what you want. It tells you which tools to use, and it will write the scripts for you or give you instructions how to use it. For example, I wanted to record a video and do something. So it told me, yeah, get CapCut. And I got it. And I said, okay, I'm here. What can I do now? And it said, okay, now you have to do this and that. And you want to do this. It explains you the tools. If the tool is popular and well known, it can help you use it. That is so amazing.
It's so much fun. All right. Well, last question for me. This has been great. If someone's working at a company and they want to help promote the use of AI or try to get more AI systems brought in, do you have any advice for how they can talk about it, bring it up, and just try to help accelerate the company move forward?
Yeah, it depends on your manager or your founder or boss. If they are a numbers person, then you just look up some studies where they show how much efficiency gains you get from the AI, how much money you can save, and how many other companies are using it. That is one thing. Otherwise, it's always good to show an example. If you can show them how you managed to do something that would have taken you much longer, if you can just show them, yeah, that would be the best thing. I think showing is more than telling. So yeah, and tell them that you are into AI. I think a lot of people may not even know. When I talked to my boss, he didn't even know that I was doing all these things in my spare time. And then he said, oh, I have to get you on an AI team. We have to do this. If I hadn't talked to him about it, he wouldn't have known. I would have done it in my spare time. And yeah, I wouldn't be where I'm now. Or yeah, it was all on the way there. So it's important to talk about it, to show off that what it does. And yeah, show it. I think AI is so good that you should be able to find some use cases where you can really show that it has a big advantage.
Fully agree. Wolfram, I've really enjoyed this conversation. Your passion just comes right through. Before we let you go, is there anything you want the audience to know?
Yeah, stay tuned, because I have not been posting a lot of evaluations recently, but at EllaMind we are working on a really solid evaluation platform, and yeah, there will be stuff to come, and as soon as I can talk more about it, I will definitely do so.
Very excited for that. All right, well, thank you for coming on, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, and thanks for having me. It was a pleasure talking to you. Keep going with the great show.